to stand up and sit with us on this couch and have some chats, okay? We just want to talk to you. We just want to have sick chats, like really. Don't gaslight.
Yeah. So like I'm like, where were you the whole conversation?
I think with a lot of them, they're like, okay, well, I haven't physically raped someone, so I'm not like those other people.
Men,
Do better.
be better,
Do better.
do better.
Get out.
Or get in the bin. Just get in the bin. They think that our boys are, good boykies who don't get involved in stuff like that. It was in our community. It was in our university family. Her death was so shell-shocking because it was so close to home for a lot of us.
Hey guys, thank you for coming back to my channel. So today we're going to be spilling the tea on
GBV.
and that's basically gender-based violence. These are my beautiful friends. They're all from med school, so they're all future doctors.
I'm Anza.
I'm Fumi.
I'm Kat.
Their Instagrams will be in the description box below. Please can you go and give them a follow. And so today we're just basically going to be talking about what's been going on in Cape Town recently. Just about like a week and a half ago, there was a student, it was the middle of the day, it was like 1 p.m. and she was just going to the post office and she was raped and murdered. And it was really, really horrible. Really, this entire situation shook this entire city to its core. We think that change needs to be done, and in order to implement change, people need to be more aware of what's going on.
So we're by no means experts in the field, so I think we'll just be speaking from like our perspective and what we've experienced.
Yeah. Get in the bin.
And,
literally throw yourself away.
Get in the bin. And like we were just saying earlier, for this video, we have so many male friends, and we invited everyone to come.
Guys.
We just felt like the more voices, the better, right? And it was such benign things that we wanted to say, like non-inflammatory, or just like about how men need to just be aware of their friends' behaviors and just kind of stop that what's up, that kind of hatred against women.
Is there a man here? I can't switch.
Exactly.
Men, call out your men!
Yeah. All these boys were like, I completely agree. They were there, they were like, we're against this. But then when it comes time to speak out, they're embarrassed.
Yeah.
They don't want to
But I
be
think
here.
it comes down to a fundamental thing of that they know they perpetuate this culture.
Well, they've done something.
And they
Yeah.
know they don't want to be like hypocrites because they've
Yeah.
they are probably instigators of these things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at least there's a certain level of self-awareness. So maybe
It's
now
just not
they
enough yet.
exactly,
To
exactly.
stand up and sit with us on this couch and have some chats, okay?
Never shame.
We just want to talk to you. We just want to talk to you. We just want to have sick chats, like really.
So when this whole thing happened, Department of Home Affairs on Twitter, South African Twitter, not South African Twitter, the South African
Government, yeah.
they came forward and they had a tweet.
Violence and abuse against women have no place in our society. Government is calling on women to speak out and not allow themselves to become victims by keeping quiet. Women who speak out are able to act, effect change, and help others.
And that's very problematic because like they're putting the onus, like the responsibility on women,
Yeah.
and like surely men are the ones who are causing the problem. They should
Yeah.
be the ones to change. Like
Do you want me to read the corrected one? So the corrected one was, violence and abuse by men have no place in our society. Government is calling on men to speak out and not allow themselves to create victims. Men who speak out are able to act, effect change, and help others.
So like the corrected version was corrected by people on Twitter. Like
Yeah,
they
the
just crossed
social
out.
justice warriors, they like to call. So we also just wanted to make this more of a positive discussion because so much of the discussion and the conversation has been negative recently. So we also just wanted to bring in where we stand, how we can make a stand, and how we can contribute to improving the society we live in.
And like Kat saying, I think we were all very shook and like initially when everything happened, very traumatized.
And her death was so shell-shocking because it was so close to home for a lot of us. It was in our community, it was in our university family, it was in our neighborhood in Claremont where it's supposed to be safe. It's from my hometown, we went to the same primary school, it's something so close to home, and I think a lot of people felt connected to her and her story in some way, and that's opened up this more direct narrative that we're now sharing because now we can relate on a more personal and individual level than just looking from the outside or looking at women's experiences of rape from the outside.
In that kind of situation, it's not up to us, but it's more so up to like the men. I'm glad that we're now at a stage where it's shifting away from women should be safe, women should always be cautious, don't drink, don't go out, don't wear short things, let people know where you're going. And she did all those things, but still, like, this happened to us is like very triggering, because now every time you leave your room or your, like where you're staying, you're like, will something possibly happen to me? Tell you what you're doing is wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah.
Literally too much.
Call out your boy.
Too much.
One sentence.
Call out the boy keys. That's it.
And like
Just
the term boys will be boys is problematic.
leave the WhatsApp group. Just leave. Like,
Literally.
you know it's problematic. You know what your friends say is wrong. Like, just leave.
So that you have your friends to depend on, like we need to empower one another, we need to be there for one another. Like one of my friends was telling a story earlier, like they went to the library to study together, and then one girl was like, I feel scared to walk to my car, and then one of the boys was like, you're being stupid. And like, how can you tell your friend that? Like, that right there, that needs to change, you know?
Yeah.
We need to be there for one another, girl, boy, whatever.
That's ignorance, gaslighting, all the wrong words.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's all the things you need to not be right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So saying that if you are perhaps a boy who, like, you know, you weren't perfect, like your behavior isn't, no one's perfect, and if you hurt like a female, you hurt your ex-girlfriend or whatever, it's really important for all of us to be involved. So even if you have done that, but you know what you did was wrong, like, come forward, like, it's okay, you will be forgiven, and just be a spokesperson amongst your friends, even just to create change.
Yeah, it starts with the little things. I mean, revolutions have to start somewhere, and I'm
Bury yourself in the trash.
yeah. Trash is recyclable, though. Just remember
So
that.
from the trash.
A lot of men and boys are scared to come forward and share their opinions about gender-based violence and about women's rights because they think that they're wrong and they think they're going to get attacked. But if you're scared and you think you're going to be attacked, just head to Google, read a book, just educate yourself about women's rights, read about women's experiences, read about how they're feeling, ask your female friends what experiences they've had with gender-based violence, experiences they've had with sexual harassment, sexual assault. Just educate yourself, make yourself a part of the conversation. I mean, it's too late for us to invite you into the conversation now. I mean, it's so far past that point. You need to now step into our circle and join the movement because we need you. We've done as much as we can. We marched to Parliament. We've been having these conversations like we're having sitting on this couch. We've been doing this for years. There's only so far we as women can go. This, after all, is a men's issue.
We need men to educate other men because sometimes those very patriarchal men just won't listen to what we have to say.
I guess it's intense. Ron,
Just
you
move
want
back a bit. I mean, someone
Back it up.
come close to me.
Oh, so hard, yeah.
I'm done.
Okay, so what did I say? Just talking about how different people have different identities, and a lot of different identities are based on different things. So I was just saying how because I'm Nigerian, my identity is based on my Nigerian culture, and maybe what happens with men, a lot of their identity throughout the history of time was just based on the oppression of women. So now that women are standing up for themselves and now this oppression of women is being eroded, they're now short-circuiting and now they're literally
Talk about defining gender-based violence, and maybe you don't even know that someone's been inappropriate with you.
Yeah, so it starts with things like sexual harassment, like someone touching you as you're walking past, just touching your waist, touching your bum, maybe saying things to you like, I'm not going to say the vulgar things that have been said to me in my lifetime. So yeah, it starts with sexual harassment, and then it's things like sexual assault, which are actually touching you in inappropriate places. Yeah.
And I don't know if it happens to you guys, but I get added to these Instagram groups and the DMs, and it's people I've never met in my life, and it's inappropriate, and they say nude. Yes, that kind of stuff. That's inappropriate, right? That's gender-based violence, honestly. Because I don't think women are out there creating these groups saying send nudes.
That aren't problematic, but they think it's such a isolated issue that's maybe happening in townships or areas that are thought to be violent, but like explained by the media and seen in society as being violent, but it's not. It's everywhere. It's the people we know. It's our friends. It's the boys in their WhatsApp groups who are saying problematic things that can be interpreted as violent. It's not an isolated issue. It's not. Gender-based violence doesn't discriminate in terms of socioeconomic status, race, or culture or religion. They think that our boys are, good boykies who don't get involved in stuff like that.
I think like what's scary is that these people coming from a place of privilege have the same amount of education that we have. So you'd assume that we've gone to the same institutions, we've all been taught about violence and violence against women. Like you've read these feminist books in high school, that you'd think that they'd be more aware or like no, but they never do. And it's still the same situation with all men, that if you choose to ignore the problems or if you choose not to inform yourself, then the problem can't really.
Or even one step further to what you're saying, like they changed their icons to purple, they attended the parliament, they marched to parliament, and then they're named, shamed, and then admits guilt afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's just so
disgusting. There's no self-awareness.
I think with a lot of them, they're like, okay, well, I haven't physically raped someone, so I'm not like those other people. Yeah. Yes, I've touched a girl when she was drunk, or like maybe she like moved my hand away, and they think, oh, I'm not as bad as those other people because I didn't actually kill someone. And it's like, it's just as bad. If you're touching a female or someone who identifies as female in any sort of way that they're not consenting to, it's just equally as bad as being a rapist.
Yeah. And I think the underlying issue with rape is just this entitlement that men feel towards femme bodies. Like Anz is just saying, it's not just about rape. It's an entitlement. It's an exertion of violence in any way, shape, or form. I mean, sexual assault and sexual harassment, there's a spectrum, and either way, if you're on the spectrum, you are problematic in the society.
And another thing was the fact that other girls aren't part of the movement, where they're like, it's not all men and it's only rapists and stuff.
It's confusing why women don't want to take part in these conversations and actually bash down the movement in themselves. And like, maybe a lot of women don't actually understand the definition of feminism, or maybe they're too comfortable in their circles that they don't want to be painted as someone that's like too extreme or hates men, or like there's an idea that like hating men and feminism is synonymous. And like it's fine to hate men because they are trash. And like feminism in itself is just about equality. So it's highly confusing when women aren't part of something where we all just want to be equal. We all want to navigate the world in safety. And
so it's like, oh no, it's not my business what he does to girls because he's my mate, and that's the problem right there, because it is my business. Like, change is only going to come about when every single one of us make it inhabitable for gender-based violence to exist in our communities. Like, I should be like, because he's my friend, I have the right to be like, hey, what you did to that girl actually wasn't very nice. Like, I wouldn't like if someone did that to me. Maybe don't do that because we're mates. Like, yeah.
Maybe don't
do that.
maybe don't be violent. Just don't do it.
Or even just like maybe don't cheat on her.
It's not the small things like that. It's disrespect in general.
Yeah, at the moment the whole Me Too thing is happening, and it's like females in the workplace are being sexually harassed by superiors just because they can take advantage of they're in a place of hierarchy. And that's the same thing, like women are always doubted. They're like, oh, but do you have evidence?
Yeah.
And they're too scared to come forward.
And it all comes down to power imbalances between men and women. It comes down to hierarchies. It comes down to structural violence. It's something that's been a part of our society for so long. It's in our governance. It's in our structures of society. It truly is the definition of structural violence. It's the same way certain groups oppress other groups. Now, this is just a manifestation of that. And when we say men are trash, we're not trying to attack all men, but people are, specifically men, but sometimes even women, which is scary, are so bothered by the hashtag that they're not realizing and critically analyzing what it truly means and where it's coming from. And the first thing they want to do is say, not all men. Okay, if you're so offended by this, take it up with the men who have led to this hashtag being created and have led to the need for this movement to be mobilized. I mean, if you're really so bothered by a hashtag more than you're bothered by women crying and screaming and dying because our safety is compromised, then that's a problem in itself, and that's why we have to use this hashtag, because we need to start the conversation. And it's the only thing that's getting you listening. It's the only thing that's getting you talking about it.
And like, there's so many cases that are undocumented, that aren't in the news, of girls going missing, raped, and also just like that happen on a night out, and people aren't they're not aware of the fraction of the actual number of women that are being taken advantage of because of gender-based violence. But so my question to you girls are, how could a viewer empower themselves, and what can they do to help implement change?
Having these conversations is really important. Everyone needs to have them. Have it with your dads, with your brothers, with your friends, with the girls, with the boys. Have it with everyone. Just open up the floor.
You have now felt empowered to actually vocalize how you've been treated and your abuses.
And if you think about how few rapes are convicted, the sad thing and the sad reality in South Africa is that for your rapist to be convicted, he had to have murdered you afterwards. That's the only way you're going to get any kind of justice in this country. Because the percentage, and statistically it's a fact, that the percentage of convicted rapes compared to reported rapes is astoundingly poor.
For real change, you say that it shouldn't be a legislative change, but a societal change in terms of person-to-person interaction.
Then let's just talk about gaslighting for a second. I learned this term today.
Gaslighting, God. So problematic, okay. I don't even know where to start.
So basically, it's when someone tries to invalidate your experience or what you're feeling, and that's just to push their own agenda and push what they're trying to say. So basically what you find is that just in small ways you're being gaslit. You're being gaslit in small ways, like for example when people are telling you no, you're overreacting, or no, not all men, or no, me and my boys don't do that.
Well, like Yumi said earlier, she's like, you're doing the bare minimum, and then someone's like,
you're a feminazi.
You're a social justice warrior.
Want to be
so
equal.
Extreme.
Sorry if I'm a feminazi.
And you're not doing, just this video, we're probably going to be called feminazis or something, and it's not true at all. This is
the bare minimum.
Yeah, the bare minimum.
It's not a simple
Don't gaslight.
Yeah, I think it's more it's a time to listen, it's a time to learn, and it's a time to change. We don't want men's inputs in terms of trying to correct how we're feeling, what we're saying, how we're acting, how we move. If we tell you what you're doing is wrong, it's wrong.
I think the issue is a lot of you guys like to paint yourself out as good guys, and then as soon as it comes okay, cool, now let's act on what you say.
Let's be a good guy.
Then it's oh no, I don't want to be the face of it. So I'm seen as poor woman, but then you're even after the incident, lots of us girls ran to each other oh, you guys okay? Let me add you and find my friends. And a lot of my guy friends were very silent. I was
did you get a message from a guy friend saying, hey Kat, if anything, just message me if you need to go out, I'll be there.
No, besides for my boyfriend who's kind of emotionally forced to. No,
yeah, and we all have so many guy friends, not a single message from her.
I think a tweet went out being oh, none of you guys have checked up on people. And literally 2-3 days after the event, everyone was oh my gosh, are you okay? And I'm you're doing interesting.
You're being, what's the word, you're just doing it because what's trying to say
face. Virtue signaling. It's called virtue signaling. Yes, it's a thing.
It's also quite interesting, I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but the power of language. And how the role language has, it literally, instead of saying women are being raped, instead of saying men
are raping women.
Exactly.
That's so true.
Or you'll say, last night, I just felt very uncomfortable, instead of being I don't know, it's a small word, but a guy made me feel uncomfortable. Exactly. So it's kind of I think media does it a lot in terms of
and not only that, but in music that we listen to, it's just this promoting this rape culture.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us don't even realize because it's so subliminal and subconscious, especially in the music we listen to. And the first thing people would think about when you say that is rap music. It's violent and it's problematic, but it's not. It's pop music. It's mainstream. It's everything we listen to. It's the movies. It's the news. It's South African Twitter. South African government Twitter, guys. It's there, right there.
Yeah. Do you guys remember that song "Sexy" by David Guetta?
Yes.
And it's I'm trying to find a way to describe this girl
without being disrespectful, and then proceeds to disrespect her.
The name of the song.
Yeah.
And then we were just talking about I didn't know. I knew the song Maroon 5 Animals.
Yeah.
And it's about him stalking.
Yeah. And I honestly wouldn't have known that if my lecturer, shout out Dr. Gordon, don't know if she watches the YouTube, for showing us that, because it really opened my eyes. And I like to consider myself, I guess, a feminist, and I like to think that I advocate for women's rights, but even I'm still learning. And yeah, I learned that from her just a couple of weeks ago. We're learning every day how our behavior is problematic and how we can improve. Even females can be complicit in the way society thinks and speaks about women.
We had some event that was going on in South Africa, people were videoing, and they were
The
like,
World Economic Forum.
yes, and they were like, is this what we want South Africa to see? Is this what we want the world to see South Africa for? And I was like, yes, we have
our reality.
Exactly.
And someone was taking a video from like a building across the World Economic Forum, and like they went their phone down to look at like the audience, not audience, people protesting, and then they went up to like the top floor of the building and saw people, they're just having fun dinner, lunch, fine dining while people are protesting.
Yeah, the contrast, like you're so oblivious.
Sometimes I feel like, I know it sounds weird and controversial, but sometimes like I used to, when I was younger, and so now I used to love reading like dystopian and science fiction.
Oh, yeah?
And like sometimes I feel like we are sometimes living like a dystopian.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that was the capital. People down there were District 13 protesting. The people up there were capital members.
And they were like the government, like ministers and stuff.
They were everyone and anyone. Business, government.
The privilege. No, but like the very privileged.
The 0.01%.
But like the saddest thing is that even the 0.01%, the females are still like discriminated against. Like you still have unequal pay.
But everywhere.
My mom was, she works in business. My mom was told once that, oh no, even though you're like capable of a job, you can't get a job because the company's not looking for a woman.
Sweetie, then get ready.
This is the 21st century, and we have to deal with it. Like, is this a joke? Am I a joke to you? Is my entire narrative a joke to you?
Okay, so when the news about like me nearly came out, we were all, as women and students, we were all upset, we were horrified and everything. But then on top of that, like those xenophobic attacks, when you started seeing those videos and what people were saying, it was like she was being attacked from every single aspect of her life.
And I think with the same token, for me, I was so emotionally affected by everything that happened, and I felt so unsafe and so scared, and I was in a very dark place, in a very bad place. But I am coming from so much privilege. Like, I am so much safer than so many of my peers. I have a car, means I don't have to walk to a lot of places. I'm white, so I'm already doubly privileged just for that reason. I'm at university, so I'm educated. Like, I'm still so privileged, and I'm still scared for my life. And it just shows you that it doesn't affect one certain minority or one kind of way of life. It's affecting everyone.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, now the question becomes, what do you do with the spectrum of privilege? Oh shit! Sorry, I saw it the whole time and I didn't say it.